about this it's a little excerpt from the story. Marc has spent some time in Japan, so I thought this was kind of a good way to segue, and we'll see hopefully why. There's a book by Japanese Nobel laureate Yasunari Kawabata called Snow Country, and there's one scene in particular towards the beginning of the book where the author talks about a journey of the protagonist into the mountains of Japan in the winter. At dusk, the landscape is somewhat not quite discernible. You can make out smokestacks, you can make out some peaks here and there, people every now and then. And he daydreams a little bit, and he catches himself focusing on the people in the train, this beautiful girl traveling with her companion, an older gentleman. And after a while, it's very difficult for him to determine, when he's looking at the reflection on the window of his train car, to distinguish between what is landscape beyond and what is the environment within, the exterior with the interior. And it's kind of a beautiful metaphor about this continuity between the landscapes that surround us and the landscapes within, or the spaces that we know more intimately. In a way, I feel it's almost an interesting parallel or an analog to an intellectual life, kind of like Marc Treib has had over 40 years. He's journeyed, I think, throughout topics that take most recently to explore ideas of drawing and thinking in the digital age, representing landscape architecture, 6 axioms of modern landscape architecture, the work of Isamu Noguchi, the work of Gunnar Asplund and Sigurd Leverins. It's a vast list, a rich list that at least I go to several of these essays in my classes, and hopefully some of you will too. But it's, I think, over a dozen books that he has either written, co-written, edited, co-authored, and they explore this very interesting range, and interesting stops along the way. So for the last 30-some years, Marc has written about numerous things such as these, and he's been honored with fellowships such as the Guggenheim, the Fulbright, the American Academy in Rome, and the Japan Foundation, among others. So it's with great pleasure, I think, to have Marc here among us. He's made the trek cross-country. He's been with us for a few days, giving some informal lectures in the mornings, which have been quite wonderful to listen to. And today he's going to be sharing with us the idea of sustainability beyond pragmatics and poetics. I think it's quite appropriate to have somebody who has thought about so many things in this long landscape, this long continuity that involves architecture and landscape, and to have his take on it. So with that, I'd like to welcome Marc, and I want you to think about questions that you might ask at the end. So let's welcome Marc Treib.
How's the sound? Good? Thank you, Rebecca. This double slide thing seems very too loud. Seems very curious. I feel I should repeat everything twice, or I should have brought those glasses to see things in 3D, when the images come up. The word sustainability is on just about everyone's lips these days, second only, perhaps, to the phrase global warming. The latter cites the greater problem. Oh, it's very loud, isn't it? It seems loud to me. Okay. These two terms have become so common, in fact, that they're beginning to assume a mantle of meaninglessness, like mom and apple pie. One of San Francisco's local television station, which bills itself as your TV 20, as opposed to my Channel 4, also terms itself your green channel. They spout information more geared to fermenting guilt than action, I fear. Advertising for new condominiums in New York City proclaims the use of recycled building materials and what they call user-operated ventilation panels, which we used to call windows that you could open. And of course, there's LEED certification.